up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real weapons being real myself. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real weapons being real myself. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money, money, money. All you got is not wrong with being wealthy. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the root of all things. You don't like money so much, why do you get up and go to work? Yes, I didn't think about all the things that we think. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, H Cortez.
Good morning, Black world, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It's an honor, privilege, and a blessing to be coming to you live and direct from the Black Men United studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're not familiar with Black Men United, I want you, if you're a lady, I want you to tell all of the Black men in your life, go to blackmenunited.net and register. Black Men United is a group of brothers who are committed to affecting positive change in the Black community. The organization was founded by Dr. Boyce Watkins and is run by Andre C. Hatchett, who is the president. And basically, it's right now it's just a mailing list, right? You get on the email list, and when things happen like what's going on in Houston, they put together a response team, and you will get notifications of that response team. That's how I got involved in my efforts to help what's going on in Houston. Is through Black Men United. So everybody go. Ladies, tell every man in your life. Brothers, if you have not already registered on that mailing list, go to blackmenunited.net and subscribe and register there so that we can stay connected. If you're serious about solutions in the Black community and you are a Black man, you need to be on that list. So whenever something goes down and we're looking to do something and move in a certain direction to galvanize our community, we want to know where are all the brothers that we can reach out to and know that they're going to put boots on the ground and take action. So blackmenunited.net is where you go register for that. Really quickly, do me a favor, if you're checking this out on Periscope, then the hearts are important. Go ahead and share and invite your followers to come check us out. If you are checking us out on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and copy the link and share it on your favorite social media timeline. And then for you guys on Facebook, if you have not already shared, go ahead and hit the share button right now. Share. The hearts and the likes and the thumbs up and things on Facebook are important. It tells Facebook we have relevant content. And whenever I go live, it will push it out to more and more people. And we're basically sifting through all of the people who are on Facebook and trying to find and connect with like minds who are serious about doing something and creating and causing and building and disseminating solutions and not just problems. So today is Free Game Fridays. You guys know how we do on Fridays. We do a live Q&A from our Facebook audience. So I want you to give me the name of your company, the brand that you're building, and then you ask your question, and we can do our best to provide an answer to those questions. It's good that you do that in the chat, because if I don't answer the questions, other people in the chat, this is a mastermind that happens every Friday, guys. Everybody on the chat line is an entrepreneur in some respect. So if I can't get to a question or I can't answer it fully, somebody in the chat, chances are they can now, or when they watch the replay, people scroll through that chat and they're looking to help one another, man. That's what we are. We are a solution-oriented group of brothers and sisters. So we also always recap this week's shows. And forgive me, I didn't have the list together as I was preparing for to get some other stuff together, because I want to give you some updates on the Houston relief efforts, right? So we'll recap some of that stuff, but if you got questions, go ahead and give us the name of your brand, type your questions in. So really quickly, for those who are in the St. Louis area and you want to donate supplies, I want you to come to Covenant for Life Christian Center. That's St. Louis, Missouri. The address over there is 7200 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. Shout out to Bishop Trice and the congregation over at Covenant for Life. It's nothing like having a partner in the movement, in the struggle. I called a pastor and said, hey, here's what I want to do. Do you mind if I sit up on your parking lot and have people just come and drop me stuff off? And he said, yes, Cortez, no problem, man. So this is what building is all about. Sometimes you don't have to give money. You have some sort of resource that other people can use and you can help, right? So shout out to Bishop Anthony L. Trice, man. Every time I've called on them, can I do a workshop at your church, man? I need a place where I can fit a few people. Can I use one of your classrooms to teach? Yeah, Cortez, brother is just always been there for me. So I appreciate that. But we're doing a drop off from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday, tomorrow, right? 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Drop off your brand new supplies over at Covenant for Life, 7200 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. From 1 to 4 p.m. I will be there and share this information. I will be posting about that event all day. If you see me post something about that, please share it, even if you're not in St. Louis, because attached to anything that I share, just like the description of this video, there is other people who are joined in and getting resources to Houston. So their information on a national scale, place that you can go and donate money, and they're filling 18-wheelers and stuff like that. So please do that. Also, if you want a link to go to find out where other help centers are, go to the Black Men United Relief Center. That is BMU Help. I'm sorry, BMUHoustonHelp.com. B as in black, M as in men, U as in United, HoustonHelp.com, and that is the Black Men United Relief Center. That's where all of our centralized information is about everybody who needs help and all the people who are providing resources to provide help. So you can go there to learn more. I'm also going to go throughout the show, give you the list, the names and the addresses and the websites of places that you can connect with to actually make some of that stuff happen, and where you can go for those relief efforts. So on Monday's show, let's see what we talk about on Monday. I'm sorry, we go in reverse. So on yesterday's show, we talked about the Houston relief efforts, just period. We talked about how we can get involved and the things of that nature. So Park Ball and Life training, no question, just shouting out his business. Okay, if you got questions, give me the name of your business or your brand and go ahead and ask your questions, and we will do that. But as we continue, until you have questions, we'll just talk about what's going on with the Houston relief. So yesterday we did our dedicated yesterday's show to helping people understand how they can get help. We had our girl Pamela J. Booker on from Coils by Nature in Atlanta. She's filling 18-wheelers to drive and drop off supplies in Atlanta. In fact, my efforts will be to get enough of whatever supplies we can get donated here, then I'm going to ship them to her in Atlanta, and she's going to fill those 18-wheelers, and they're going to drive down to Houston and distribute those products. The type of products that we're looking for, guys, is more individual type stuff. So the travel size section or the trial size section in your local Walmart and Dollar General and places like that, get a bunch of that stuff, because if you got one tube of toothpaste, that's a huge thing to carry if you're always on the move. But if you got 10 small tubes of individual tubes of toothpaste, that's something that can be disseminated amongst many people, right? And that will stretch and go a little bit longer, right? If you're going to buy socks, for instance, don't go out and buy a 16-pack of socks, right? Maybe you get a bunch of 2 and 3 packs, right? That we can give to a bunch of different people instead of having to break that stuff down once we get it there. But whatever you do, if it's new, bring it. Blankets, personal hygiene products, feminine hygiene, baby goods, diapers, and wipes, and hand sanitizer and all that kind of stuff, man. Just think about the fact that people have lost everything. They've lost everything, right? So whatever you can send, just please do whatever you can. So as we are waiting on questions, let's just keep on pushing. Enterprises holding it down for Houston, sponsoring families in need. So keep on pushing this, sponsoring families in need. So if you want to know some people who need some help and you're looking for families to sponsor Shelton, go over to bmuhoustonhelp.com. There's a list of people who need help, and there's also a growing list of resources that you can use to help, right? So get your name on that list if you got resources that you want to help other families with, and that will be phenomenal. So I appreciate that. Anybody else got any questions this morning? Right? Any questions this morning? Go ahead and share this out if you haven't already, and remind everybody just to keep sharing this information, and we'll keep going through the show. So I want to show you real quick, or give you a couple websites and a couple of addresses for the Black Wealth Movement team in Atlanta, GA. If you haven't already put together your own drive, please consider that. I would appreciate that. And I'm going to give you the addresses that you can drop some stuff off to here right quick. So in Atlanta, if you're doing a drive, or if you're not even doing a drive and you just want to go drop supplies off, there's 3 drop-off locations, and this is put together by Pamela J. Booker of Coils by Nature, right? You can drop them off at her location, her primary location at Coils by Nature at 3042 Miller Road. That's Lithonia, Georgia. She didn't give a zip code, but or it's not listed on here. But Lithonia, Georgia, I do have her phone number if you want to reach out to the folks over there and figure out, maybe you're dropping off a pallet of stuff, right? And you want to know how to get a truck over there. You can call her at 866-597-1115, right? So if you are in the Atlanta, GA area, there's 3 locations that she's coordinating drop-off efforts, and they're going to fill an 18-wheeler, and they're going to drive that stuff down to Houston. So Coils by Nature, 3042 Miller Road, Lithonia, Georgia. The phone number over there is 866-597-1115. Also, the True Products is a drop-off location, right? And you can drop off these products anywhere from noon to 5 at these locations. The True Products, and that's the founders and creators of True Detergent. They are opening their facilities for a drop-off location, and they're also donating a bunch of detergent as well. That address over there is 4820 Clark Hollow Highway, Suite C as in Charlie 8. That's Atlanta, Georgia 30349, and that phone number over there is 877-520-TRUE. 877-520-TRUE or 877-520-8783. And then Killer Mike's Swag Shop is also a place that you can donate items to, and that address is 365 Edgewood Avenue Northeast, also in Atlanta, Georgia 30312. So 3 different drop-off locations in Atlanta. In fact, all of our efforts will be to get supplies from here in St. Louis, ship them to Coils by Nature in Atlanta, and help them fill that truck over there. So, and then if you want to donate money, then you can also go to coilsbynature.com, and she has a Houston Help or Houston Relief button right there on her site, and you can click that, and she has a link to where she's receiving donations. And what she's going to do is take the money and then just go buy a bunch of supplies to load the trucks. Another place that you can go and give donations, if you want to go to teshawater.com and click on Harvey Relief, then brother Larry Leonard is accepting donations in $10 increments. So you have to donate at least $10, but they are matching donations up to a certain dollar amount. So if you want to donate money, then you can go donate money there. Brother Tim Jackson, if you're looking for a place to drop off products in Dallas, he's doing the same thing. He's in Dallas, and he is actually doing driving down from Dallas to Houston to do the same thing with his organization and the partnerships that he has. Let me give you that address. If you're in Dallas and you want to drop off supplies, that is 8035 East R.L. Thornton Highway, number 619, and that's in Dallas, Texas. I apologize, the zip code is not listed here. So again, 8035 East R.L. Thornton Freeway, number 619, and that's in Dallas, Texas. They're doing the same thing, filling up a trailer or a truck, and they're going to drive that down to Houston and give those products out. So ERGJ, the Black Bazaar, is in the building. Guys, go ahead with your questions. Otherwise, we will just continue to talk about the different options that you have for providing help to those in need in the Houston land, in the greater Houston area. Let's see, if you want to adopt a family, Keith Watson, +2, one is on dialysis. He has a phone number, 281-903-4691. Cash help him drive around and feed others in need. So basically what he's doing is he's offering his resources. So if you want to donate to somebody who's helping people, he's using his resources to help women and children. He's helping to feed them and clothe them and provide shelter. So if you want to donate to him directly to help him in his efforts, let's see, you can make a PayPal contribution to KDub3000, K D as in Dub, UBB 3000 at gmail.com. KDub at gmail.com. Brother is using his resources, and matter of fact has exhausted his resources in helping others. So if you can donate or send some PayPal, he has access to stores. A lot of people don't. So he can get to stores, buy supplies, making sandwiches and doing whatever he can to help provide snacks and things that help sustain people as they're going through this deal. So keep on pushing enterprises. I have a PayPal campaign going on, and as I receive donations, I will evenly distribute to the families in need on the list as the donations roll in. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So get with Brother Shelton. Go ahead and post the PayPal link there, Brother Shelton. Just do what you can with what you have, guys. Anybody got any questions, right? We can still do Q&A Fridays, guys. If you're looking to build your brand, got questions on how to better brand and market, how to grow your business, give us the name of your brand and go ahead with your questions. One Queensland made my donations for the hurricane. Yes, Author Bethany Rucker has donated on several occasions and is doing a good job of helping me get this information out. She's tagged a ton of folks in some of my videos about the drop-off location tomorrow at Covenant for Life Church. And guys, if you don't have monetary resources, think about your human resources. I don't have a lot of monetary resources, but I said, hey, I have a platform. I have a few people's listening ear, so I can use my platform to help people however I can. So it's not always about a monetary resource. Pastor Trice opened up his church and said, hey, man, if you want to make this your central location for drop-offs, by all means, man, I support you in that. And I'm sure they're going to donate some supplies on behalf of the church as well. So if you don't have monetary resources, share this video, share my stream from yesterday, share the picture I put up from yesterday. That is helping. I've had tons of people reach out to me already saying, brother, where can I meet you at and drop some stuff off? How can I help? I told one brother, I said, hey, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to need a box of stuff or a truckload of stuff. If I end up getting a truckload of stuff, I'm going to have to drive that stuff to Atlanta. And brother said, hey, man, I'll help you drive it. Whatever you can do, man, whatever you can do, just do what you can with what you have and know that that is enough. Do what you can with what you have and know that that is enough. I mean, we say all the time, we all we got, but we say that with a negative connotation. Yes, we all we got, but that's enough. We all we got, but that's enough, right? So if you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and do my quote of the day. It's been a while since I've done a quote of the day, but this one I could not pass up. Brother says, where would we be if Black people shared Black businesses as much as they share chain letters and emails? Where would we be as a group of people, as a nation of people, if Black people shared Black businesses as much as they share chain letters and emails and Facebook, right? If I get another doggone chain letter and email, that's why my brother Evan ERGJ Jefferson says he gives them the Matumbo finger, right? He's blocking them when you start sending that crap to his inbox. So today's quote of the day is brought to you by my man Evan Jefferson. If you have not ordered your copy of the Black Billionaires Club, then you can do that at theblackbillionairesclub.com. Evan Jefferson is currently putting together his book tour. And if you have a location in your city and state and people are receptive to building wealth, then get with Evan Jefferson, because I did talk to Eliani, and we've got a meeting with one of the spots that we have the potential to host. Evan, you coming to St. Louis, and we'll put together a nice economic empowerment event. So we're working on that on our end to bring you in and through St. Louis. So if you are wanting some economic empowerment events and you need a speaker, you need someone who's going to drop some heavy information on the crowd and give you some solutions, Evan Jefferson fixes broke. Get with the brother. Free class on how to order stocks when you order the book, right? So theblackbillionairesclub.com. Reach out to the brother if you want to bring them to your city, if you want your city added on his national book tour, and we'll make that happen for you. Any other questions? Any other questions? Or any, what is the first question? We haven't had the first question yet. There's Shelton has posted his PayPal campaign. I vouch for this brother that he's going to do what he said he's going to do with the money. Keep on Pushing Enterprises is just that, a solutions-oriented group of individuals that are trying to bring solutions to our people, and encouraging everyone to keep on pushing, keep your head up high, and do what you can with what you have. So any questions? Anybody else got any other resources that we can shout out, right? Because I want you to know that if you're looking for resources, go to the Black Men United Resource Relief Campaign. It's BMUHoustonHelp.com. BMUHoustonHelp.com. John Wade, brother, how are you doing? I'm doing all right, brother John Wade. Just trying to do what I can with the resources and the platform that I have to help those in Houston out. So I know there is anybody else on my Black Wealth Movement team got anything going on. I'm challenging you wherever you are. I've got a nice group of people in the Houston area. Are you guys coming together? And I'm not in Houston, in Cleveland area. Are you guys coming together in Cleveland and doing anything that we can add you to the BMU Houston Helps list there? I got a nice group of people in Memphis, Tennessee. Are you guys coming together to create a drop-off center or anything in Memphis that we can ship the products to Houston? And my folks in Atlanta, I know Mojo and Yvette and that group, Milton J. You guys, if you guys are coming together, let me know what you guys are doing so we can continue to coordinate these efforts and these live streams. No questions today, man. Is everybody just trying to figure out how to best help Houston? How to best help Houston? I know one show we did this week, we talked about economic empowerment as the new protest. Economic empowerment as the new protest, right? One of the reasons things are going on in Houston the way that they are is because our lack of an economic base, right? Same as in Katrina, man. People were so in such poverty-stricken situations that when they made the call to evacuate, people literally could not afford to evacuate. They couldn't afford to evacuate. But what if we had our economic foundation in order and such that we had a bus company in Houston that bust everybody out? And then for those who didn't have friends and family that could take them in, we had black hotel chains that could shut down their operations and provide accommodations for those people for a couple weeks. That's what we mean by having an economic base, a resource base, right? That's what, we need that. So when we don't have an economic base, we find ourselves in situations like this where it is just tough, right? But a strong economic base in all of these urban centers where we could have pooled all of our resources and we could have had places for people to go outside of Houston and let this thing blow over. And then once it blows over, we have the economic resource and clout and pull to make sure the insurance companies are going to do what they say they're going to do based on people's premiums being paid up and all that. You guys know in Katrina, there was a lot of people who couldn't get the insurance companies to pay. Even those who have flood insurance and stuff like that. It's just crazy, man. But when you have a strong economic base, then you have the ability to lean on the political structure. You have the ability to lean on the corporate structure, right? When you have a strong economic base. And that's what we have to develop first and foremost. We went through the 5-story building as Dr. Claude Anderson lays it out. The first floor on any that building is economics. You got to get your money right. You got to lay your foundation economically with your businesses, with your corporations, or with your enterprises, and that's got to be first and foremost. Then once you get your economic base, you take some of that money and you go buy your political base. See, we like to try to vote our political base into being. That's not how other cultures do it. They know money is influence, money is power, so they buy their political base. But because we don't have an economic base, we try to vote our political base in place. And we're voting for jokers and putting them in place. But then other people are financing their campaigns. So who do they have their allegiance to? They have their allegiance to the people who finance the campaign and not the people who voted for them. So that's why you have to have an economic base so you can buy your politicians. Once you buy your politicians, those politicians will appoint your police chiefs, your fire chiefs, and your judges for your criminal justice system. And they will appoint people in your that will work for you, right? The criminal justice system in America does not work for Black people. It works against Black people with harsher sentences, stiffer and sterner judgments and rulings based on public perception of who and what we are. But if we had an economic base, we bought our politicians, then we can dictate to those politicians what kind of judges and police commissioners and chiefs and fire commissioners and chiefs to appoint to govern and police and protect our cities, right? People don't think that that racism plays a part in policing and why it's important to have people from your community policing your community. I'll give you a quick example, right? You got two kids, one kid Black, one kid white, right? They're in a community where it's a little rundown. There's old abandoned buildings in this community, right? Both kids, one on one side of the building, one on the other side of the building. And because the building is broken down and is dilapidated, and because they are in a somewhat of rundown neighborhood, what do people tend to do when you see a situation like that? As a kid, I know I've done it. You pick up a rock and you see if you can hurl it and break a window. The windows are already broke. The building is already abandoned, right? So white kid on one side of the building, Black kid on the other side of the building. They're hurling rocks, trying to see if they can bust a window, testing their arm strength, testing their masculinity. That's what kids do, right? That's just what kids do, right? So cop rolls down on the white kid and gives them an opportunity to take that kid to their parents and let their parents do the policing. Say, hey, caught your kid vandalizing the building. That's wrong. Don't do that, right? And that kid goes home, gets stern talking to by their parents, and that's the end of the story. Black kid on the other side of the building, he don't get taken to his parents. He gets taken to the police station. He gets booked. He gets sent to the juvenile detention center. And see, the same officer, that could be done by the same officer, and that officer has the ability to use his judgment and see and say what happens to that kid. Does this kid go home, or does this kid go into the system? 9 times out of 10, the cops who are policing our communities, who are not from our communities, don't understand the dynamic and will show leniency for the white kid and be stern with the black kid, because the black kid needs to learn a lesson. The white kid needs some help because they're emotionally or socially distressed, right? And that's how our justice system plays out, because we don't have an economic base. We can't hire our politicians who can then appoint our police commissioners, chiefs, so on and so forth. And when the media, and then because we don't appoint that, we don't have that power base, we can't make that appointment, then we don't have the wherewithal to buy media. And when you can't buy media and other people own media that covers your community, they can slant and shed the particular light that they want on your community, point blank, period. I don't care what you say about conservative and non-conservative political life. At the end of the day, there's only 6 media companies that own all media. And those that cover us primarily cover us in a light that makes that officer think in his head that that black kid is going to grow up to be a criminal that may potentially rape or murder or hurt somebody in my family. So I have to try to nip this in the bud and get him some stern help right now. Even if that cop isn't necessarily overtly racist, racism is playing into his thought process because of the way the media portrays us. And yes, we can argue, fuss, and fight about how media portrays us, but at some point, we've got to take matters into our own hand, own media, and dictate our own stories, right? Since we have to start changing the culture by teaching our kids. If we keep talking about racism, nothing will change. Our culture is evil in America. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But we can't stop talking about racism. See, if you're going to fix a problem, you have to be keenly aware that the problem exists, and you have to know how to identify the root causes of the problem. See, I think if we don't talk about racism, then we continue to have this problem with racism. It's in large part because we won't talk about it. We won't talk about the fact that it does exist and that it is detrimental and even life-threatening for Black people in America. It's detrimental and life-threatening in America. We cannot not talk about racism. You know, some of you guys have known my story and the fact that I was molested as a child. And one of the things that keeps, every 14 seconds a child is molested. Every 14 seconds a child is molested. Every 14 seconds a child is molested. So if I say that 3 more times, then within that span, another child is being touched inappropriately. The reason child molestation exists is because no one talks about it. If every child came forth right now, whether they're a child or in their adult age, and admit that they've been touched and point out those who have been doing the touching, we nip that in the bud overnight. But because those who are predators know that it's something that's not talked about, they can continue to prey on our babies. But when you bring that darkness to the light, it's not as easy to prey on the babies anymore. When you bring racism to the light at its fundamental core, it's not as easy to practice racism anymore. So we cannot not talk about it. That's the problem. That's why those who are practicing it directly and indirectly can say that it doesn't exist, because we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Yeah, that was the mentality in our house. What happens in our house stays in our house. That was the mentality. And what happened in our house didn't stay in our house, because my uncle went out and molested other kids in other people's houses because we didn't talk about it in our house. So that can no longer be our mentality. And that's our mentality with racism. We talk about racism amongst ourselves, but we don't bring up racism amongst the people who are practicing racism. So we've got to get to that place where we can have this conversation, because a lot of times you have those who are of other cultures and other races who pretend they don't understand racism and how it affects us. But then you have those who actually don't understand, who are ignorant to racist practices that they practice every day. So those who know what's going on, those are who we're at war with. Those who are ignorant to their practice of their racist practices need to be educated. And you do that by open and honest dialogue. So we can't not talk about racism. We have to. We have to, or else it's going to continue to exist as the elephant in the room that is actually life-threatening to Black people, to brown people. It's life-threatening, so we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. No questions today, man. Come on, where y'all at? It says, I have 2 churches in south suburbs of Chicago that have drop-off spots. Did you get their addresses, Corbell? Because I want to get them over to my brother Tim, who's putting together the relief efforts for Black Men United. Inbox me those addresses, Corbell. National Council of Negro Women collecting donations, as well as senior citizens of Clyde Jordan Center. I'm set up at East St. Louis Senior High School Saturday morning. That is awesome. So Saturday morning, I spoke with Nicole. I know she's going to take her collection Saturday morning. I think she's going to bring them over to us, and then we're going to separate them to good. Since I disagree with you, brother, you start by talking about Texas and how they need help. Have you witnessed how Black and white and yellow came together? It is culture. It is not racism. Culture wants you to believe that it keeps gas on it. So you believe that if we stop talking about racism, racism just goes away? Yeah, give me those addresses so we can get them added to the list. Yes, I don't doubt that fundamentally human beings who need each other will help each other. What you have to understand, though, that's what's affecting many Black people is the fundamental systems of racism. Says you need to identify the problem, right? And you don't think racism is a problem for Black people? See, I think what you're doing is you're confusing prejudice with racism. I think you're confusing prejudice with racism. And a lot of people make that mistake. Prejudice is I'm not helping you because I don't like you. And racism is a systemic thing, right? That systematically uses power in a disproportionately harsh way towards one group than another, right? See, when you say neighbors of black, white, and yellow come together in a crisis situation, those are individuals, right? Just like in Katrina, there were individuals who were coming together to help each other because we didn't care. We just needed to help each other get out of this mess. But then the system of racism treated black people differently in terms of the relief help that they were actually afforded and able to get. It treated black people differently than it treated white people and other cultures. And we can't deny that exists. We can't deny that exists. So we have to educate our people that, hey, this exists and this is how you thrive and survive and get from one level to the next in spite of this being in existence. See, that racism is the system, but in that system, you have some white people who are prejudiced against black people, some black people who are prejudiced against white people, but black people don't have the power to be racist because we don't own or control any systems that can affect the entirety of white people or another culture in their entirety. White people have a system that can suppress and oppress the entirety of black people. That's racism. But you're right in one sense that this show wasn't supposed to get into the racism, right? this person wasn't this wasn't the purpose of that show, right? I just cannot understand how people can hate. I can't either. I can't either. And see, and that's one of the things that I can talk to somebody about racism, even if they're practicing racism, and not hate them. That's just it. I can talk to somebody about racism, even if they're practicing racism, and that don't mean I hate them. Right? Same way with me as a black man, I can love my black community, I can love my black people, and I can be very, 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 very pro-black. But that doesn't mean I hate another culture. See, some people believe that if I love me and my people and I want to see me and my people do well, by default, I hate every other culture. I've got sons, 5 of them. I love my sons to life. But does that mean because I love them, I hate your sons, John? No, it's not. And you're right, Monica, it's not the people, it's the system. And sometimes we as black people see people who are prejudiced and we treat them like they're racist. And there's nothing wrong with prejudice, man. Prejudice is about a personal preference. If you white and you don't like to be around black people, that's your personal preference and there's nothing wrong with that. That don't mean you hate me as a human being. You just prefer not to be around me because of your preconceived notions of who you think I am. There's nothing wrong with prejudice. We all practice prejudice. But when that prejudice feeds into systems that are put in place that are supposed to treat everyone equal, and because that prejudice exists, that system that's supposed to be treating everybody equal shows prejudice against one group. That's racism. That's what we have a problem with. I don't have a problem with you not wanting to be around me because I'm black and whatever you think about black people, and that's just your prejudice. But when you're in a position of power and you are standing for an organization or a group of, or a system that's supposed to treat everybody the same, and you allow your prejudice to cause you to use your power to treat one group different than the other. That is racism. Sheldon says he's prejudiced against liver, right? I'm not, man. I had some liver and gizzard yesterday from ladies. I partake in the liver every now and again. So those are the major differences, man. I don't mind you being prejudiced, man. You hang out with who you hang out with. That's your personal preference. I hang out with who I hang out with. That's my personal preference. But if I get myself in a position of power and I am representing an entity or an organization that's supposed to be fair to all, and my prejudice comes in the way of how I judge, how I deal with one particular group or another, that's where prejudice turns into racism. We're all prejudiced, but we're not all racist. That's the problem. That's the difference. But again, if you're in the St. Louis metropolitan area and you want to bring supplies that are going to Houston, I'm at 7200 West Florissant Avenue it's right there in Jennings, 7200 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. 63136. And that is a Covenant for Life Christian Center from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I will be posted up there. So bring everything that you want to donate. We prefer that you bring personal care items in travel size or trial sizes. That's what we prefer. So if you wanted to go get a case of those little bottles of hand sanitizer, they're usually 50 cents in the trial size aisle in your local department stores. Then, little stuff like that. You want to go get a case of the trial size toothpastes, a case of the little trial size soaps. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. But if you want to go buy some blankets, some undergarments, socks, t-shirts, and that kind of stuff, man, people need everything. They need everything. So we're not turning anything down. We do ask that it's new and it's still in its original packaging. That it be new and still in the original packaging. That way we can trust that, people are sick, man. So people can do some crazy stuff, and so we don't want just make sure it's new and it's original packaging, and then we will ship that stuff down to Atlanta. They will then load it on the trucks that they are loading, and then drive that stuff to the folks in Houston. And I think my girl Pamela has 2 drop-off points in Houston where they're going to drop off, and they're going to set up shop where they can distribute all of the wares to the people in Houston. So no questions, nobody trying to build their business, build their brand. That we just completely derailed today's show with Houston and racism. And John, you don't have to apologize, man, because good dialogue is what's missing, because nobody wants to put their complete feelings out there for fear of being judged, for fear of being called a racist, for fear of being called prejudiced. So I get it, bro. You don't have to apologize, but we need good dialogue. We need this kind of dialogue all the time. And if we can start to have this dialogue more and more, then the more we can have it without it being emotionally charged. Because we don't talk about it, when we do talk about it, it's hard to talk about it without emotions escalating. But if we make this a regular part of the conversation, and people are really open and honestly looking to help each other heal and help each other understand how to deal with this whole situation, we be in a better place. Be in a better place. Yeah, definitely. It's therapy. It's therapy. Any questions? In the name of your brand. If you don't have, even if you don't have a question, you should be shouting, putting in the name of your brand in the chat. You never know who's on the chat wants to learn more about what you do or need a service or product that you offer. So shout out the name of your brand and what it is that you do. Right? Give an example. It's hard to let's see. It's hard to concentrate in this crisis that based on Katrina and Sandy, we know is going to be a while before people are whole. Absolutely, absolutely. But the effort has to be there to have these sorts of dialogues to make it all work. You're absolutely right. Can you write off business attire? I don't know if my girl is Yvette is on, but absolutely. But there's certain limitations with business attire. So for instance, a lot of time if it's business attire, then one of the mandates is that you don't have the pockets have to be sewn up, because they don't want you to take this business attire and wear it for personal use. So if your business requires you to look a certain way, so I believe, Pam, you're in the financial services industry, and your part of your company bylaws requires that you be in uniform, meaning in a nice suit and slacks, or a nice suit and dress skirt or whatever. Then if that's part of your business attire, then yes, that should be a write-off. But at the same time, you can't wear those clothing for any other thing other than business, right? So it's like when I wear a uniform, if I was worked at a tire shop and I would wear a uniform, then naturally when I go home and get off work, I don't wear that uniform out on Saturday night. So that uniform is a write-off. But you can't write off business attire that you're going to wear for business and then turn around and wear the same attire to church or something like that. So I believe those are some of the stipulations and limitations. But again, I'm not the tax professional, but you definitely can write off most of that stuff to a certain degree. One of the good resources that I use is Home Business Taxes Made Easy by Dr. Ron Mueller. So if you can check that out, and you can research business attire, right? Keep on pushing enterprises, financial education, economic empowerment, motivational speaking. That's Shelton Fortenberry Jr. Yeah, give me the name of your brand and who you are. So I have 4 brands that I build at the same time. Solid Foundation Athletic Academy. I'm a youth basketball coach and trainer. So I train kids using the Vertimax and various training protocols to kind of get people to where they need to be physically so they can perform better in athletics. You guys know I have Financial Health Mentor / Black Wealth Movement. That is my financial education franchise. We teach economic empowerment all over the country because we don't believe in community development without economic empowerment. It's tough to do that. So that is another brand, Black Wealth Movement, Financial Health Mentor. You guys also know that I have Monetize My Life Academy. Excuse me, I've been able to build a robust brand for my financial education franchise based on the branding and marketing acumen that I have. Now I've opened up an academy that can teach you how to brand and market your own business. So that's another brand. So just shout out the name of your brand so that people can connect with you. And then lastly, my other brand is All Amateur Sports Network. I cover local sports here in the St. Louis metro area. In fact, if anybody knows how to do highlight videos, that's going to be a big part of what I do, is creating highlight videos for some of the young athletes, and also using those highlight videos when we feature the game of the weeks between certain players. If I have a highlight for that player, and I can show his highlight, and he's going up against another player, I got a highlight where I can feature his highlights as part of the game of the week promo and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have brands, man. So shout out the name of your brand. Let's see, Future Leaders LLC for single folks, and W4. How do you maximize taxes when you have no dependents, or is that where the Schedule C comes in? That is exactly right. See, most people don't get that the W4 has 2 pages. The second page, you can estimate your tax deductions, and that will allow more of your money to come back into your household so that you don't pay too much in taxes all year long waiting for a refund. And that's exactly what a Schedule C is. So if you're single with no kids, then you get to claim 1 for yourself. You get to claim 1 for being single, And sometimes, depending on the situation, you probably claim one per head of household. Most of you have to have a qualifying dependent to claim head of household. So you have two or three allowances on your W-4, right? But if you have a business, then you can pick up 2 or 3 additional allowances based on your anticipated amount of tax write-offs, right? Or adjustments to gross income is the way it's phrased, line 4, page 2 of the W-4. So, and then as you're writing off your lifestyle and your business expenses throughout the year, then that brings down your taxable income. And that's where the W-4 helps a single person with no kids, right? Cool, cool. Any other questions before we get out of here? So let me just go over the resources that are available if you want to help those who are dealing with Hurricane Harvey and the flooding that's going on in Houston. Central location. You can find a lot of these resources on this at this one central location. BMUHoustonHelp.com. BMU, Black Men United, BMUHoustonHelp.com. Right? You can find a lot of these resources right there. Coils by Nature is doing a truckload of going from Atlanta to Houston. She's got 3 drop-off points. That information is at BMUHoustonHelp.com. Test Your Water is matching donations up to a certain dollar amount. If you donate through testyourwater.com, look at the link says Project Harvey, I believe, at testyourwater.com. That is a resource that you can donate monetary resources. They're already donating thousands of gallons of water, but then also they are taking the money to buy supplies that they can distribute amongst the people who need the help as well. Another site, coilsbynature.com, has a place that you can donate money to. Shelton is actually blessing individual families. So Keep It Pushing Enterprises has a link in the stream somewhere where you can actually donate via PayPal, and he's going to take that money and send it to those people who actually need help. And there are also people at BMUHoustonHelp.com. There are also people there who are listed and raise their hand and say, hey, I need some help. So you can find people who actually need help, and you can help them directly as well. BMU Houston Help is a kind of a central hub. It's a growing list of resources. In fact, if you have resources, inbox them to me so I can get them to Brother Tim, who's putting this together, and he can add your resources. So if you know of drop-off points or people who are collecting supplies, we want to have, when you go here, I don't care what city and state you're in, if you want to help, we want you to be able to find a place in your city where you can drop off supplies, or find a place or a reputable company or organization that you can donate money to from a central location. And if you are a Black man and you are not on the BMU Black Men United email list to attend our seminars and things that we have on these types of discussions on how we can heal our community, go to blackmenunited.net and sign up for the mailing list. Sign up for the mailing list. Yes, Brother Shelton, keep on pushing. Think About It Radio is a link where you can check that out, man. All right, cool. This has been great today. Thank you for caring about Houston. Appreciate that, Shelton. Yep, so we got all of the links posted in the chat. Also, in the description of today's show, I have all of those same links posted as well. And again, if you're in the St. Louis metro area, there's the young lady in East St. Louis put up where she's going to be receiving supplies in East St. Louis, and she's going to bring them over to us in St. Louis. Our drop-off point is Covenant for Life Christian Center, 7200 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. We're collecting supplies, and we're going to get those supplies to Houston. To Atlanta, and they're going to fill their trucks that are going to Houston. So I appreciate all of you guys' support and help. I've been getting a lot of people inboxing me saying thanks. A lot of people have actually donated based on calls to action that I've made, and I think so far, based on the 3 shows that we've done on this, I think we've had over $1,500 in donations going to one of the entities that we are promoting. So I'm extremely proud that I can reach out to my network of people and ask people to donate, and people are actually taking action, because, you know, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's something else to be about it. And I appreciate all of y'all for being about this work, but it's not just about money. If you got clerical skills, if you got a network, or you want to have me come on your show to talk about what we're doing, you're going to have some of the other brothers from Black Men United come on and talk about, because you have a big enough following and you want us to communicate what we're doing to them, that helps. If you just hit the share button on this video, on any of my posts related to helping Houston, that helps, y'all. That helps, because you never know what kind of philanthropist you have on your timeline looking to help, but just don't know where to go to provide the help. So just sharing all of that stuff helps. So I appreciate it. I'm H Cortez. Till I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, y'all.